Hey, I'm Walker. This is Dance Walker Tarot. Um, I hardly ever do this. I never really come on here and talk about myself, but I was just kind of guided to for some reason. So, um, I get asked all the time, am I a dancer? No, I love dancing, but I am a terrible dancer. I do it all the time. I'm no good at it. It's literally my name. My mom's side dance, father's side walker, tarot reader. See where I went with that. It's not creative at all. I've considered changing it. I'm sure my family wants me to because they don't claim me. If you're like, where does she come from? Like, my parents ask the same question every day. So you're not alone in being like, who is this weirdo? But from Southern California, if you've ever been to the big white mall in Whittier, look across the street. I was born right there. Yeah, right there. Back when there used to be the sound of frogs and crickets at night. Imagine that. Anyway, I'm kind of moved around a lot, so when people ask me where I'm from, I don't necessarily know what to tell them, but I've pretty much lived in the Southwest for the most part. With some years in Detroit, Chicago, a little bit of Seattle thrown in there, but yeah, I started doing this as a hobby, just as an exercise, because I had been doing tarot for a few years. I have not been doing this my whole life. I am not the expert on tarot, but I was raised in Mormonism, which is kind of a Masonic cult. And if you don't like that, I just said that, you probably shouldn't watch my channel. Okay. But I didn't even know tarot existed really until I was in my late 20s, and I taught myself 6, 7 years ago now, but I knew the language immediately. I've been kind of intuitive, like an I see dead people sort of person ever since I was a young child. And there's some background there that if you know me personally, you know what I'm talking about and why I never really talked about that. Like somebody, a old friend reached out and they were like, Walker, why do you have a YouTube video about tarot? I was like, oh yeah, I read tarot. And this is somebody that I know very, very well. And they were just like, what are you doing? I don't necessarily talk about this side of myself, although I just learned tarot recently. This is a language that's a part of me already, which is, I think, kind of why I picked it up right away. But I've always been an intuitive person, but because of my background, it was very dangerous for me. It was very dangerous for anyone like me in that situation. So for the most part, if someone didn't bring it up or they didn't ask about it, I didn't talk about it. But I have kind of always been this way. And I know I'm a bit of a joker and I play around a lot, but I do take spirituality seriously when it comes to care. Like, I do care about people. I joke a lot, but I'm kind of a secret cheerleader for people. And they don't know it. I really do genuinely care about people. And I see, the great mother and father in everybody I meet. So whether or not I'm the greatest tarot card reader in the world, it's not necessarily anything I'm claiming. Or even being like a light worker. I see myself as a drill sergeant more than anything else, but that's in my past. Spirituality is it's a personal experience. So we should all have different opinions about what that is. And I am hoping that we're not attacking each other just because of that reason. And I hope that nobody feels attacked personally. If I bring up something about a religion you're a part of, or a group, or a sorority, fraternity, organization, like my own parents can't kind of separate the fact that I talk about what's wrong and twisted about the religion I was born in. Like, they can't separate their own spirituality from that, where I hope that everyone understands that I do care and I'm not attacking anybody. And I never meant to. And I got a comment the other day that made me kind of sad. Like, I usually brush it off, I understand projections are not necessarily my business, but someone felt hurt and I just wanted to address that because I do not know how to talk sometimes. I'm very curt and I have ADHD, and sometimes I don't even finish my sentences. But I had said something about in one of my videos someone getting bad advice from a fake spiritualist. It came through. It wasn't me saying it. It came through in the reading. But someone got their feelings hurt because I said anybody can call themselves a shaman. Anybody can call themselves a god or a goddess. And it doesn't, and somebody got really hurt because I guess their name had that, their handle has that in the name. And I personally did, sorry, honestly, I didn't ever see that person's channel and they thought I was attacking them, but I never saw your channel. And so that's the clarification, I guess. I knew I was clarifying something. There it is. I follow probably 1,000 channels on YouTube because I do love people and I'm in the middle of nowhere and I have no interaction with anyone at this point. I'm not close with anyone. I'm not a part of a group. I'm celibate. I don't date. I'm single. My family doesn't really fuck with me. I'm not close with any friends. Like, I have friends, but we're not close. And so if I interacted with you online, it's not to troll you, or if I follow your channel, like, I looked it up, there's probably like 60 channels that I follow that are the truth, that have goddess or something like that, shamanistic, mystic handles that are exactly who they say they are. But you cannot argue with me that there are those out there that are just trying to muddy the waters and make a buck, you know? Like, you can't really argue with that. But I wasn't attacking anybody in particular. It came through the reading that somebody's son was getting bad information from some random shaman on YouTube. So that was the advice for that situation. I don't know why. I guess if you don't know me, you don't know me, but I really do have good intentions for everybody. I have love for everyone. And I admire everyone's perspective that has the guts to share it in this world, where it tries to make everyone into a sameness and the hive mind mentality. And it's being forced upon people. And I see people resisting, and they are from everywhere, which is why I love YouTube and why I follow so many channels. I mean, not all tarot. There's wisdom that is being shared all over the place. Like, you can't throw a stone without someone sharing something beautiful and wonderful that makes the world a better place, you know? But if you don't resonate with my channel, there are so many others that you will resonate with. And if I say something where you feel attacked because I was talking about your religion or group, I'm not talking about you. So you don't need to feel defensive because I don't have bad feelings towards you, whoever you are, just in general. And if someone told you otherwise, you should probably check your sources and make sure that they're not like a total liar or fibber. But I just felt the need to clarify something, and I guess it was that. So I don't follow people's channel to troll them. Even if I say something that is the opposite of what you believe, I respect your perspective and I admire you for sharing it. I don't go online to argue and I don't have another, what do you call it? Another space where I interact with people or talk to people. Like I'm off Instagram. I post for myself and keep it private. I erased anyone that was following me because I was dealing with a lot of fraud and literal theft, stuff like that. And for some reason, it wouldn't let me unfollow people. But I'm off Instagram. I'm off Facebook. I'm here basically. So I don't know. I guess I just needed to clarify that. I don't follow people to troll them, and I don't listen to people to tear apart what they say. And if I do follow you or listen to you, I admire your perspective, and I probably really look up to you. So I don't know. Maybe someone needs to take a look at why they felt defensive about that remark. It might have a lot more to do with them than me. But I also know that the way I talk, sometimes I don't necessarily explain what I mean thoroughly or even in a comprehensive way with it. So I just wanted to clarify that I do care. And if you have any questions about me or my channel, oh, please ask. Please ask. Like, don't talk to somebody else about me. Ask me. There is nobody else that is authorized to answer for me. I'm not close to anyone. If that sounds sad, it's like, hey, I got a peaceful life. I love it. I mind my own business, actually. Another question was, do I know who I'm talking about in these readings? No, I don't. And I do not care. It's in one ear and out the other. I really do just feel like a messenger here. But if I'm guided to insert a story about myself, it's only because I'm not great at explaining myself and it will paint a picture for you to work off of. Okay. And something bothered someone else. I was talking about past lives. Yes, I remember my past lives. I don't know why everyone doesn't, but I do. For better and worse, and it's mostly worse, which is why I don't like to talk about it. But I did bring up something the other day that someone misunderstood. Where, oh, clarification number 2. All right, I'll do timestamps. I'll do timestamps. But I was talking about a natural disaster happening, which again came through in the reading, talking about an earthquake. And someone said it was fear porn. I was trying to something. And I'm like, well, there are literally earthquakes every day. Every day. You'd like throw a stone and there's a YouTuber who studies earthquakes talking about earthquakes happening all over the world from time to time. So it's not rocket science or a reach or magic to say that there's going to be an earthquake, and to be prepared is not wrong. So I don't know why they got upset. They said that I was suggesting that like you abandon your children if you are a leader or if you're in politics. So the message was for 2 people. One was someone who unfortunately had already chosen to be in politics and they had a family. And the other person was just someone who didn't have kids. They were in the community and they were going to be asked to step up, and they can think ahead a little bit about networking, batteries, extra water, stuff like that. But I had mentioned in a past life dealing with absolute destruction and how you really have to take your days and break them up into like periods of 2 days when something happens. And like I said, if you've unfortunately chosen politics and you have children, you're already done. Like I've said before in videos, you can't be a good politician and a good parent. You can't. If you're like, but I am, ask your kids, ask your mate. You can't be a warrior, like a career military person and be a good parent and and you're like, but I am, ask your kids, ask your spouse, is everything okay? Probably not. So in that case, it's like I was saying, you just have to, when disaster hits, everything that's wrong in your own world is going to suddenly shoot to the front of your cerebral cortex, and you're going to want to focus on that and do your duty, and you can't. So what I was suggesting was not abandon your children, but get a babysitter and call your family, extended family, in to take over for those first 2 days after disaster, after the earthquake hits, after the bomb hits, if it's your responsibility. If it's because you see the politicians scatter, that are only in it for the money or the clout when something like that happens. And a lot of time the people have to stand up. So if you weren't the one that doesn't have kids, it was like you'd break it up into periods of 2 days. You do the earthquake for 2 days and you only focus on that, knowing that you have the backup or that you have delegated if you're a CEO, so that you can only focus on that, and you need to block out all that personal stuff, all your fears. Suddenly it comes in. It's like the falling in front of your crush 20 years ago suddenly is there as it's all falling down, and you just have to power through that. You do that for 2 days, and then you block that out and go back to the family, because you can't do it all, and trying to do it all at one time will be the disaster. So you have to break it up into bits. And I guess I didn't explain that well, but that's what I meant. And then someone said, what would you do differently? Someone that was in the situation said, what would you do differently if I could go back? Like past life, if I could go back, I would have gathered up my little children, ran the fuck away, and let people figure it out for themselves. Huh. Not very courageous, is it? But it would have been the better decision, I think. So in that scenario, it was somebody who was already kind of there. It was already their responsibility, and they had kids. And I was just saying that when disaster hits, expect this to happen in your brain, expect this to happen in your body. Okay. So I was just trying to give advice. I wasn't trying to tell anyone what to do or even really share about my past life, because nobody cares. It's like nobody cares. Everyone's selfish, and that's okay. Like, worry about yourself. And I don't really worry about my readings. I don't know who they're for. I don't think about it, and I don't internalize it. I don't remember it. If someone said, hey, when was your reading about something? I would not. I don't know. I'm not that kind of reader. But I am here out of the goodness of my heart, and I don't want to hurt anybody either. So if anyone has any questions about me, please ask. Don't assume. Don't get your information from someone else, right? But that goes for everybody too. So, all right, have I been talking for 18 minutes? All right, that was just a little personal video, but clarifications, and much love to everybody out there who is trying to shine the light for people. And when I talk about fake shamans, fake gods and goddesses, I'm talking about like those alligators in suits that have those big churches, like the real fakes. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people on YouTube who are doing their best every day. I'm not talking about you. Like, do you have a like, are you a megalomaniac? Are you secretly doing things? No, I don't think you are. So I'm not talking about you. Much love to anyone that has the courage to try and do something to make the world a better place. And if you're on here to watch me or troll me, you're wasting your time. Like, you need to focus on yourself, focus on your own life. That's what I'm doing. All right. I'll see you for the next one. I'm Walker. This is Dance Walker Tarot. Bye-bye.